let's say that you started in Tucson. You can't just all of a sudden stuff and then say Tucson, comma, Denver, comma, Plano. For one thing, it looks weird, right? The website will look odd and will look weird to people who come. You've got shirts, you've got wrapped vehicles maybe, you've got business cards. When they go to the website and you're working an area, or it's one of your actual locations, and it probably wouldn't be this diverse, but it just works as the example, right? You don't want to hand somebody something and have them go to your website and see Tucson when you're in Plano, or Denver when you're in Tucson, or whatever it is. You want them to come to your website and go, oh, here's this company. Now, if you have multiple locations, it's fine, but it doesn't need to be looking weird to people. If you keyword stuff all of these into pages for, let's say, TPO, or shingle page, or roof insurance damage claims help, then it's going to violate Google's algorithm. And someone located in Tucson without keyword stuff pages is going to out-optimize you, or vice versa on any of these locations. Hey there, it is Nolen Walker with Roofing Webmasters. I want to talk about multi-location SEO for roofers. So many of you guys have really messed up websites because of what's been done, and you've started other locations, which I think is a smart thing for a roofer overall, because hey, you could have a major hailstorm and really do well, and then it could be such a massive hailstorm that most of the roofs got replaced in the market, and then it didn't hail for 5 years. So to have 2 or 3 locations to spread this risk out, to also look for hail or storm damage or other things, is an overall smart thing. A lot of you guys will end up going into a location and saying, hey, I like Colorado, or I like this area, I'm going to start a business here after you work a storm. So it's really common, but you know what's really common too? Some web crew completely messing up your web presence, and then everything doesn't work. So you had a successful website, possibly in one market, and now things stop working. And I'll talk about that for a minute. So let's talk about why this happens. So you're in, I don't know, let's just say you're in Tucson, and you go on and you start working in, let's say Boulder, or how about Denver, and then you go on and you work in, let's say, Plano, Texas. You guys all know the Collin County area where we are, right? Because it's just loaded with hail, right? Plano or Frisco or McKinney. Anyway, so let's say that this is what it is. Well, let's say that you started in Tucson. You can't just all of a sudden stuff and then say Tucson, comma, Denver, comma, Plano. For one thing, it looks weird, right? The website will look odd and will look weird to people who come. You've got shirts, you've got wrapped vehicles maybe, you've got business cards. When they go to the website and you're working an area, or it's one of your actual locations, and it probably wouldn't be this diverse, but it just works as the example, right? You don't want to hand somebody something and have them go to your website and see Tucson when you're in Plano, or Denver when you're in Tucson, or whatever it is. You want them to come to your website and go, oh, here's this company. Now, if you have multiple locations, it's fine, but it doesn't need to be looking weird to people. If you keyword stuff all of these into pages for, let's say, TPO, or shingle page, or roof insurance damage claims help, then it's going to violate Google's algorithm. And someone located in Tucson without keyword stuff pages is going to out-optimize you, or vice versa on any of these locations. So how do you fix it? Well, you'll have folders inside the website, and the folder will be about the city. Depending on how many cities gets in the mix, it changes on how the algorithm works on this. So I go back and forth. It's like, well, if your home base is really strong and it's Plano, should you keep the homepage Plano? Maybe. It depends on how strong these other locations are. As it grows and it's got 7 locations, you've got to have a general page up front that isn't shoving in stuff. You could talk about Texas if it's all in Texas, but if it starts going multi-state, it just needs to be standard content, and then you'll have locations at the top with a locations drop down. The locations drop down will be ABC roof.com and then /Plano or /Tucson or whatever it is, that folder will not drop in just one page for the city. It'll actually have a little website with inside of it. So if you want validation that this is the correct way to handle it, back in the day it used to be a subdomain, and you on Google would see maps.google.com, but now it's google.com/maps. They drop it in a folder. This is how it's done. This is how it's supposed to be done. And then it needs to all be completely structured, proper URL structuring, set up properly, and then it will bring strength to that area, and it's like a mini website inside the folder. If it's not done this way, what ends up happening, what I normally see, is that the roofer loses all the organic. So they don't get any more organic keyword ranking. Nothing ranks at all because it's all convoluted. So they're watered down and washed out, and Google doesn't like that. They like specific local businesses. This folder, abcroof.com / whatever, this may be somebody's company, so let's just call it 555, whatever it is. That interior folder will link off the GMB, the Google My Business account. It'll link off the GMB, and the button will go to that. And then that Google business account will get separate reviews, right? So the local account goes to the folder for the city. The folder for the city doesn't have one page. It might have 10 different pages of content about your primary services that are completely rewritten custom for every single location. Has to be done that way. If you don't do this, then you're going to lose all of it, and everything goes to paid only. So you're door knocking, you're paying for clicks, you're pushing ads out, you're buying leads, you're getting telemarketers leads, whatever you're doing, everything goes paid. You lose the best return on investment because this is all messed up. You didn't do folders, there's no content in it, it's not linked off the Google My Business account. All those actual legitimate locations then get regular work on them as well, regular content work, and those legit locations are real. Gone are the days almost a decade ago of P.O. boxes, and guys, whether you know it or not, gone are the days of the virtual office, like a few weeks ago, a few months ago. And so that stuff now is a thing of the past, but you get these legitimate locations, you folder this stuff up properly, and then you work on it regularly. You add content in these areas. They can even have their own blog separately if you go to that extent. Those different folders are little web pages, almost like you're your own franchise. And then that all gets worked on regularly. It gets linked to a legitimate GMB account, Google My Business account, which gets separate reviews and regular work in a myriad of quality ways. Like we do here. I won't bore you with all the details of it. Design, code-based content, regular work, work in your GMB, citations, domain authority, right? All this stuff that gets done well and regularly, and possibly integration of paid ads and stuff done properly. That is how you structure it. Your site does not show up because it's convoluted, jacked up, messed up, and not linked in well. These are more complicated sites to do. We, of course, do them here. Happy to help out with it. Do it quite frequently. I see this actually. So not easy to fix. The average web company would braze over this, lie to you, do it wrong, promise you stuff, mess it all up. So we can fix it. We'd love to. And I hope you enjoyed that one. As usual, take a look around. Call us when you're ready. We'd very much like to be of service. It would be our honor to have you as one of our monthly clients and have this fine group of webmasters work for you. I really look forward to hearing from you someday.